You won't believe what happened at my stepfather's wedding today. I wasn't invited, but I showed up anyway. And by the end of the night, he was begging me to leave while his new bride questioned everything she thought she knew about the man she just married. This is a story about justice, secrets, and why you should never underestimate the daughter you abandoned. My name is Sarah, and for 12 years, I called David my stepfather. He came into my life when I was 8 years old, right after my biological father passed away. My mother was broken, grieving, and vulnerable. David seemed like a knight in shining armor, successful, charming, and seemingly devoted to both of us. For years, he played the perfect stepfather role. He came to my school events, helped with homework, and even walked me through my first heartbreak. I genuinely believed he loved me like his own daughter. I was so naive. Everything changed when my mother was diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago. As she grew weaker, David grew more distant. He started working late, taking mysterious phone calls, and treating both of us like burdens rather than family. The day my mother died, I discovered the truth. While going through her things, I found a letter she had written but never sent. In it, she revealed that David had been having an affair for over 2 years. She knew about his secret relationship with his secretary, Jessica, but stayed quiet because she was dying and didn't want to destroy what she thought was my relationship with him. But here's the part that broke me completely. The letter revealed that David had been stealing money from my mother's accounts, money that was supposed to be my inheritance and college fund. He had been planning his exit strategy while my mother fought for her life. 2 weeks after the funeral, David sat me down for what I thought would be a conversation about our future together. Instead, he told me he was selling the house and that I needed to find somewhere else to live. At 19, I was suddenly homeless, broke, and completely betrayed by the only father figure I had left. He moved in with Jessica immediately. Within 6 months, they were engaged. I was completely cut out of his life, like those 12 years meant absolutely nothing. I had to drop out of college, work multiple jobs just to survive, and watch from the sidelines as he built a new perfect life with someone else. For 2 years, I struggled and suffered while he lived his best life. But I never forgot what he did to me and my mother. I spent months gathering evidence, bank statements, emails, photos, and even recorded conversations from when I lived with them. I knew one day I would get my chance for justice. When I saw the wedding announcement in the local newspaper, I knew this was it. This was my moment. Jessica deserved to know who she was really marrying, and David needed to face the consequences of his actions. I spent weeks planning everything perfectly. I bought a beautiful black dress, as symbolic, I thought. I timed my arrival for right after the ceremony, but before the reception dinner, when all the guests would be mingling and the atmosphere would be light and celebratory. Walking into that country club felt like stepping into a movie. Everything was white and gold, elegant and expensive, paid for with money that should have been mine. I saw David immediately, looking handsome in his tuxedo, laughing with his groomsmen, completely unaware that his past was about to catch up with him. Jessica looked stunning in her designer wedding dress, surrounded by her bridesmaids, glowing with happiness. For a moment, I almost felt bad for what I was about to do. Almost. I walked straight up to the happy couple during their receiving line. David's face went white when he saw me. I could see the panic in his eyes, but he couldn't make a scene in front of all his new wife's family and friends. "Congratulations, David," I said sweetly, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "I'm so sorry I couldn't make it to the ceremony. I hope you don't mind that I came to celebrate anyway." Jessica looked confused but smiled politely. "I'm sorry, do we know each other?" "Oh, how rude of me. I replied, extending my hand. I'm Sarah, David's stepdaughter. We haven't met because he's been busy since my mother died. The smile faded from Jessica's face. I could see David trying to signal me to stop, but I was just getting started. David, I brought you a wedding gift, I announced, pulling out a large manila envelope. It's something I found while going through my mother's things. I thought Jessica might find it interesting. Inside that envelope was everything: copies of the bank statements showing the money transfers, photos of David and Jessica together while my mother was in chemotherapy, and the letter my mother had written exposing everything. I handed it directly to Jessica. My mother wanted you to have this. She believed everyone deserves to know the truth about the person they're marrying. The silence that followed was deafening. Jessica's hands shook as she opened the envelope and began reading. David tried to grab it from her, but she stepped away from him. As Jessica read my mother's letter, I watched David's perfect wedding day crumble before his eyes. Guests began gathering around, sensing drama. Jessica's mother demanded to know what was happening. Is this true? Jessica whispered, holding up the bank statements. Did you steal money from her dying mother? David tried to explain, to justify, to minimize what he had done. But the evidence was overwhelming. $23,000 transferred from my mother's account to his personal account in the months before she died. Photos of him with Jessica at romantic dinners while my mother was receiving treatment. Jessica threw her bouquet on the ground and walked away. Her family followed, leaving David standing alone in his tuxedo, surrounded by confused guests and undeniable proof of his betrayal. The wedding reception was canceled. Guests left in whispers and shock. David's business reputation was destroyed. Several of his clients were at that wedding, and word spread quickly through their social circle. But the real victory came 3 weeks later when Jessica's lawyer contacted me. She was annulling the marriage and had decided to help me recover the money David had stolen. She felt responsible for unknowingly benefiting from my mother's suffering. 6 months later, I got a settlement that covered not just the stolen money, but enough to finish college and start over properly. David lost his job, his reputation, and his chance at happiness with Jessica. He tried to contact me several times, alternating between apologies and anger, but I never responded. Jessica and I actually became friends. She told me she had suspected something was wrong, but had ignored the red flags because she loved him. She thanked me for saving her from a lifetime of wondering what other secrets he was hiding. Some people might say what I did was cruel, that I ruined his wedding day and his chance at happiness. But I prefer to think I prevented Jessica from making the same mistake my mother did, trusting a man who was capable of stealing from a dying woman and abandoning her daughter. David taught me that family isn't always about blood or marriage certificates. It's about loyalty, honesty, and showing up when it matters. He failed at all of those things, and he got exactly what he deserved. My mother would have been proud. Justice might be delayed, but it always finds a way. Remember, this is a female perspective story about standing up for yourself and seeking justice when you've been wronged. Sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones who taught us how strong we really are.